Can I just say it's so amazing to be back in Leeds. I always feel at home here, and I've just had a really long trip around all sorts of parts of the UK visiting other branches. We're all amazing, we're strong everywhere, but my goodness, it's brilliant to be back in Leeds. You've made it. You managed to make an even bigger set of pickets today than I saw when I was here on Monday last week, and that was the biggest thing I'd ever seen. That was bigger than even last year, and what I'm taking from that is we are building the strength of this union, and no one should be in any doubt as to the strength of our resolve. We are mighty Leeds UCU. Give yourselves a massive cheer and round of applause. I'm so delighted that we are going to see Beckett and Trinity, hopefully Sue, joining us by reballoting. And I know that we will do everything we can to support you guys in getting your turnout over that awful Tory threshold that is so anti-democratic and so dedicated to silencing the voices of workers like us when we stand up for what is right. Because that is what we are doing. We are not actually asking for the world. We are asking for fair and decent pensions so that when we go into our retirement, we can live a decent life. We're also asking for a decent life now. Can I ask a question? How many people here are either on a precarious contract or have been on one? Shout and wave. That brings absolute shame on this sector that I have just seen almost everyone wave their hands at me, that precarity is so embedded in this sector, almost as if we didn't understand that we regularly had work that a university needs to do. Not only in teaching, not only in research, but in keeping the place running. We strike for everyone in this sector. We are fighting on two vital linked disputes that bring this sector together. It's so important that we have gone out on the same time on those two disputes that has brought people together in branches that have USS pensions and branches that don't, that we are all fighting on the forfeits dispute at the same time as we are fighting for our pensions. It matters enormously that we don't have any division in this sector, because our higher education senior leaders would like us to be quiet. For people who like to take out risky loans for capital expenditure to build big shiny buildings, they sure do make a series of bad bets. They bet that we would not get our ballots over the line. Well, whoops, we did. They bet that we would have low turnouts on our pickets, and my goodness, I hope they were upset when they looked out of the window every day for the last 8 working days. We have been proving them wrong. We will not be quiet. We will fight for the heart and soul of our sector. We will fight for the heart and soul of education, and we will fight for the heart and soul of this society. I know 8 days is a long time to be stood outside on pickets, but what I've been hearing from you guys and what I've been hearing around the UK is that people are drawing strength from one another because we know what we're doing is right. We're going to go back into work, and we're going to work with action short of a strike. No more of this free work, no more of this goodwill-based unpaid hours. We will be working to contract. We will support you because we are getting rude responses, quite frankly, from management up and down the UK because they are frightened. And I think that's really important to know, that you take with you when we are going back into work on action short of a strike, and when we are preparing for the next wave of strike action, that if they haven't listened to us, we will take in the new year. We will take with more universities out on those picket lines, and we will make this strike look like a gentle tea party. We are taking our lives back. We have got loads of new members. You may know people who've joined during this strike. You might be one of those people. You might be new to striking. And I just want to say thank you so much to everyone. Whether you are new, whether you've done this before, you are part of an enormous and important fight. And to those who ask us, is there not another way to save our sector, to save our pensions, to achieve fair and equal pay, to achieve secure contracts. Well, also the workload issue is, somewhat massive. We've tried that. We've tried asking nicely. We've tried asking firmly. We've tried getting it in every newspaper. We've tried getting coverage of it in our media. It's out there. You Google it, it's there. It hasn't been enough and they haven't listened to us, so that is why we're on strike. That is not progressive, it is not ethical, and we will strike until we get what we need. Now, I want to give you a little bit of hope here, because I think that there are a feeling sometimes that when we go back into work, it's going to be a bit scary, it's going to be a bit difficult when we go back in after having 8 days out. Don't forget that the power of our action has brought both sets of university representatives back to the negotiating table. As the Vice President of UCU for Higher Education, I chair both teams of your negotiators. We've been working really hard before this strike was even on the horizon and during this strike, and we know that our action, what you have been doing every day for the last 8 days, what people have been doing up and down the UK, has brought them into that room, and it has brought a different atmosphere into that room. UCU, for example, wanted to pretend that there was no longer a dispute because they'd imposed a sub-inflationary pay rise, otherwise known as a pay cut, on us. And they had done very little around casualisation. They had just issued some nice words about casualisation and the pay gaps, and some hand-wringing went along with it. We had a very different kind of attitude in the last meeting we had with them, and they told us they would contact us early this week. Well, by my reckoning, they're late because it's now the middle of the week, so we should be expecting something from them soon. I don't know if it's going to be good enough, because the first offer often isn't, but it is progress, and it is progress that we have extracted with our action. We met the employers represented by Universities UK the other day as well, and I have to be honest, they all look really uncomfortable and stressed across the table from us. And all we did was tell them the truth. All we did was tell them that we experience what they are trying to do to our pension scheme as theft. It is theft of our future, it is theft of the future of people who will join university jobs and feel unable to join a pension scheme if the costs keep rising unnecessarily. They are in no doubt that they need to do something. They've said they're going to write to us as well, and they've been doing a little bit of hand-wringing of their own, and they've said, they have, this is a phrase we're hearing quite a lot, they don't have a mandate to make us a better offer. But we know that there are Vice-Chancellors who are shifting. We know that there are even Vice-Chancellors who are starting to speak to the media. We know that this pressure and what we do is putting pressure on those Vice-Chancellors who will have to turn to their representatives and say, do you know what? Actually, we would quite like to get somewhere where we can all be back at work. And that's what this pressure is about. So if someone says to you, why were you on strike? If someone tries to make you feel like it was a bad idea, just remember that this is unfortunately how we get those recalcitrant people back in the room. It's how we get an offer from them, and it is how we will win. So I'm going to finish, I know it's very cold, I'm going to finish by saying, now we have to keep going. You are incredible. It is such a privilege to represent you. I feel like I want to cry sometimes when I look out at how many people there are here, at how many people are out on picket lines, at how many people are holding a digital picket line, resisting the urge to talk about the stuff that you love, that motivates you, that is your calling. You are amazing. We need to hold the line, grow the action. We know we have support. It is fantastic to hear from politicians who are actually listening to us for once. Thank you. And I'm going to finish by saying an enormous thank you to these incredible students who have supported us so solidly. You sustain us. You are the reason that we fight for a decent education sector, and just thank you so, so much. It means an incredible deal. Thank you.
Thank Thank you everybody who's